What happens when one of Hollywood's most beloved actors walks into what should be a simple morning interview, only to find himself facing off against a host who refuses to show even basic respect? In just 42 seconds, Savannah Guthrie's dismissive attitude would turn a routine promotional appearance into the most talked about morning television meltdown in recent memory. The Today Show studio buzzed with its usual morning energy. Michael B. Jordan sat comfortably on the iconic couch, looking sharp in a tailored Navy suit. He had shown up to talk about his latest project, ready to connect with the audience the way he always did, with genuine warmth and charisma. Hoda Kotb sat to his right, her familiar smile putting everyone at ease. Al Roker stood nearby, coffee mug in hand, and Carson Daly leaned against the desk, checking his notes. But Savannah Guthrie had other plans. From the moment the cameras started rolling, something felt off. Savannah barely looked at Michael. During her introduction, speed reading through his accomplishments like she was racing through a grocery list. No enthusiasm, no warmth, just cold, mechanical delivery. "So Michael," Savannah began, her tone already carrying an edge that made Hoda glance over with concern. "Let's talk about why you're really here." Michael smiled, assuming she meant his new film. "Well, I'm excited to share this project with everyone, because it really means something to me personally. And I think audiences are going to connect with—" "No, no," Savannah interrupted, waving her hand dismissively. "I mean, why are you here, on this show? Don't you think you're a little too, how do I put this, urban for our morning demographic?" The studio went silent. Al Roker's mug stopped halfway to his mouth. Carson's head snapped up from his notes. Hoda's eyes went wide with shock. Michael's smile faded, replaced by a look of disbelief. "I'm sorry, what did you just say?" Savannah leaned back in her chair, that entitled smirk spreading across her face. "I'm just saying, our viewers are suburban moms having their coffee, families getting ready for work. They watch us for comfort, for familiarity. And you, well, you represent something very different." "Different how?" Michael asked, his voice steady but his jaw tightening. He knew exactly what she was implying, but he wanted her to say it out loud. Hoda jumped in, trying to salvage the situation. "Michael is an incredibly talented actor who appeals to everyone. His films have made billions worldwide. People love him." "Do they, though?" Savannah shot back, turning to Hoda with a condescending look. "Or is Hollywood just pushing a certain agenda? I'm asking the questions our viewers want answered." Carson stepped forward, clearly uncomfortable. "Savannah, maybe we should just talk about the movie." "Stay out of this, Carson," Savannah snapped. "I'm conducting this interview." Michael sat forward, his composure starting to crack. "Let me get this straight. You invited me here, to your show, and now you're questioning whether I belong here? Whether I'm too urban? You do realize what you're actually saying, right?" "I'm saying what everyone's thinking," Savannah replied, her voice dripping with false innocence. "You play these tough guy roles, these angry characters. Is that who you really are? Are you angry, Michael? Should we be worried?" Al Roker stepped closer to the couch, his voice firm. "Savannah, that's completely out of line." "I'm just doing my job, Al," Savannah said, not even looking at him. She kept her eyes locked on Michael, clearly enjoying his discomfort. "Michael here is a public figure. He can handle some real questions instead of the softball nonsense everyone else throws at him." Michael's hands gripped the edge of the couch. "Real questions? You call racist stereotypes real questions? You're sitting here, on national television, implying that I'm somehow threatening or inappropriate for your audience because of how I look." "I never said anything about race," Savannah replied quickly, that smirk growing wider. "You're the one who brought that up." "Interesting. Very telling, actually." Hoda looked horrified. "Savannah, stop. Just stop talking." But Savannah was on a roll now, her sense of power and entitlement fully unleashed. "You know what I think? I think you're too sensitive. You celebrities are all the same. You want the fame, the money, the adoration, but the second someone asks you a tough question, you play the victim card. A tough question? Michael's voice rose slightly, his usual calm demeanor finally breaking. You basically called me a threat to your white suburban audience. That's not a tough question. That's bigotry dressed up as journalism. Carson moved closer, putting his hand up. Okay, I think we need to take a break. No, Michael said firmly, standing up from the couch. No break. I want everyone watching to hear this, to see this. Savannah stood too, trying to reclaim control. Sit down, Michael. You're being dramatic. I'm being dramatic? Michael laughed, but there was no humor in it. You just spent the last 5 minutes insulting me, stereotyping me, and now you're telling me how to react? Al Roker stepped between them. Savannah, you need to apologize right now. For what? Savannah's voice went up an octave. For asking questions? For not treating him like he's special? This is my show, and I'll ask whatever questions I want. Your show? Hoda stood up now too, her usually cheerful face flushed with anger. This is our show, Savannah, and you're destroying it with this nonsense. Savannah whirled on Hoda. Oh, please, Hoda, don't act all righteous. You're just upset because I'm not playing the game. I'm not pretending that everything is perfect and everyone is wonderful. I'm being honest. You're being cruel, Hoda shot back. There's a difference. Michael shook his head, his disappointment visible. You know what the sad part is? I came here in good faith. I prepared. I was excited to be here. I respect this show, or at least I thought I did. I grew up watching Today. My mom watched Today. And this is what it's become? Savannah crossed her arms. What it's become is real, authentic, not some carefully scripted promotional tour where everyone kisses your feet. Nobody's asking you to kiss anyone's feet, Michael replied, his voice now ice cold. Just basic human decency, basic respect. But apparently, that's too much to ask from you. Carson tried again to de-escalate. Michael, why don't we just move on to talking about the film? I'd love to hear about your character. But Michael was already unhooking his microphone. No, Carson, I appreciate you trying, but I'm not doing this. I'm not sitting here and pretending this is okay. You're walking out? Savannah's eyes lit up like she'd won some kind of prize. Really? You're that fragile? Fragile? Michael's voice boomed through the studio. Standing up for yourself isn't fragile. Refusing to be disrespected isn't fragile. What's fragile is someone who has to tear others down to feel powerful. Al Roker nodded in agreement. Michael's right. Savannah, you're way over the line here. Savannah turned on Al. Not you too, Al. Come on. You're really going to side with him over me? This isn't about sides, Al replied calmly. This is about right and wrong, and what you're doing is wrong. Hoda walked over to Michael, her hand gently touching his arm. Michael, I am so sorry. This is not who we are. This is not what this show stands for. Michael looked at Hoda, his expression softening slightly. I know, Hoda. I know this isn't you, but I can't stay here. I won't. Savannah laughed, a harsh, bitter sound. Oh, this is perfect. Walk away. Run away. Show everyone how you really handle pressure. Michael turned back to her, his eyes blazing. Pressure? Lady, I've handled real pressure. I've worked my entire life to get where I am. I've dealt with rejection, discrimination, people telling me I wasn't good enough, wasn't right, didn't fit. And I persevered. I succeeded. Not because I ran away from challenges, but because I stood up to bullies. And that's exactly what you are, Savannah. A bully with a platform. The studio crew had stopped what they were doing. Cameras were still rolling. Everyone watched in stunned silence as this moment unfolded. Savannah's face reddened. How dare you call me a bully? I'm a journalist. I'm asking hard questions. You're hiding behind that title, Michael countered. Real journalists ask tough questions with respect. They challenge their guests without demeaning them. You're not interested in journalism. You're interested in creating drama and putting people down to make yourself feel superior. Carson spoke up again, his voice shaky. Maybe we should all just take a breath. No, Carson, Michael said, his tone gentler now. I appreciate what you're trying to do, but there's no salvaging this. Savannah made her choice. She decided to use her platform to be divisive and hurtful, and I'm making my choice to not participate in it. Hoda's eyes were glistening. Michael, please know that this doesn't represent us. I believe you, Hoda, Michael said, managing a small smile for her. You've always been kind. You and Al and Carson, you're good people. But as long as he gestured toward Savannah, is allowed to behave this way, I can't be part of this. Al Roker set his mug down hard on the desk. Savannah, you owe this man an apology. I'm not apologizing for anything, Savannah said defiantly, her arms still crossed. He's overreacting. Everyone's overreacting. We're reacting appropriately, Al said firmly. You attacked a guest who came here in good faith to promote his work and connect with our audience. Instead, you ambushed him with coded language and disrespect. Savannah rolled her eyes. Oh, please, Al. Coded language? I was perfectly clear. Exactly, Michael said quietly. You were crystal clear, and that's the problem. Hoda wiped at her eyes. Savannah, why? Why would you do this? What were you trying to prove? Savannah's expression hardened. I'm trying to prove that I'm not afraid to ask the questions everyone else is too scared to ask. I'm trying to show that this show has integrity. Integrity? Michael's voice rose again. You think attacking someone's character based on stereotypes is integrity? You think making your guest feel unwelcome is integrity? I think not playing favorites is integrity, Savannah shot back. I think treating celebrities like regular people instead of royalty is integrity. There's a difference between not playing favorites and being hostile, Carson interjected. Michael has been nothing but professional since he arrived. He answered your questions. He was polite, and you attacked him. I didn't attack anyone, Savannah insisted, but her voice wavered slightly now. I asked challenging questions. Michael laughed again, that same humorless sound. You know what? Keep telling yourself that. Keep pretending you're some kind of hard-hitting journalist instead of what you really are, which is someone drunk on their own power who forgot what basic human kindness looks like. Get out then, Savannah said suddenly, pointing toward the exit. If you're so offended, leave. Nobody's stopping you. I already told you I'm leaving, Michael replied evenly. You don't get to kick me out. I'm choosing to go because I refuse to be treated this way. Al Roker stepped forward. Michael, before you go, I want you to know that many of us here are horrified by what just happened. This isn't okay. I know, Al. Thank you. Michael extended his hand, and Al shook it firmly. Hoda gave Michael a quick hug. I'm going to call you later. We need to talk about this properly. I'd like that, Michael said warmly. Then he turned to Carson. Man, I'm sorry you got caught in the middle of this. Carson shook his hand. Don't apologize. You have nothing to apologize for. Savannah watched this exchange with growing frustration. Are you all seriously siding with him? Against me? Your co-host? Hoda turned to her, and for the first time, there was genuine anger in her usually gentle eyes. We're not siding against you, Savannah. We're standing up for what's right, and what you did was wrong. Deeply, deeply wrong. You'll regret this, Savannah said to Michael, her voice low and threatening. You're making a big mistake walking out of here. Do you know how many actors would kill to be on this show? Michael stopped at the edge of the set and turned back one final time. Maybe that's true. Maybe there are people who would accept being disrespected just for the exposure. But I'm not one of them. I've worked too hard and overcome too much to let someone like you make me feel less than. Your show might be important, but my dignity is more important. Your dignity, Savannah scoffed. Your ego, you mean? No, Michael said firmly. My dignity. My self-respect. The things my parents taught me to never compromise on. You can call it ego if that makes you feel better about what you did here today. But everyone watching knows the truth. The studio fell silent again. The weight of his words hung in the air. Savannah tried one more time to regain control. Fine, leave, but don't expect to ever be invited back. Michael smiled, a real smile this time. Savannah, after today, being banned from your show feels like a reward, not a punishment. With that, he turned and walked off the set, his head held high, his dignity intact. Hoda immediately turned to Savannah. What is wrong with you? What possessed you to treat him that way? Oh, don't start with me, Hoda, Savannah snapped. You're just mad because I didn't follow your little script of fake niceness. Fake niceness? Hoda's voice cracked. Being kind to our guests isn't fake. It's called being a decent human being, something you clearly forgot how to be. Al Roker moved to the center of the set, addressing the crew. We need to cut to commercial. Now. But Carson held up his hand. Wait. No. We need to address this. Right now. With the audience watching. Savannah's eyes went wide. Are you insane? We're not addressing anything. We absolutely are, Carson said, his voice stronger now. The cameras are still rolling. People saw what just happened. We can't just pretend it didn't. Al nodded slowly. Carson's right. We need to acknowledge this. Hoda wiped her eyes again. Our viewers deserve to know that what Savannah did doesn't represent this show or our values. Don't you dare throw me under the bus, Savannah hissed. We're a team. A team doesn't attack guests, Al said quietly. A team doesn't use coded racist language on national television. A team doesn't make one of the most respected actors in Hollywood feel so disrespected that he walks off our set. Savannah looked around at her co-hosts, seeing no support in any of their faces. You're all pathetic, weak, scared of saying what everyone's really thinking. No, Hoda said firmly. We're not scared. We just have basic human decency. Something you seem to have lost. Carson addressed the camera directly. To everyone watching at home, we want to apologize for what you just witnessed. That was unacceptable. Don't apologize for me, Savannah shouted. I stand by every word I said. Then you stand alone, Al replied. The stage manager rushed over, whispering urgently to the co-hosts. Producers were already on their phones, their faces pale with panic. Savannah grabbed her own microphone. You know what? Fine. You want to make me the villain? Go ahead. But I'm the only one with the courage to be real on this show. The only one willing to ask hard questions instead of lobbing softballs. Those weren't hard questions, Hoda said, her voice breaking. Those were attacks. Personal, hurtful, racist attacks. I never said anything about race, Savannah repeated, but it sounded hollow now, desperate. You didn't have to say the word to communicate exactly what you meant, Carson said. We all heard it. America heard it. And more importantly, Michael heard it. Al looked directly at the camera. Michael B. Jordan is a talented, respected, professional actor who deserved better than what happened here today. We apologize to him and to all of you watching. Savannah threw her hands up. I can't believe this. I'm being crucified for doing my job. Your job isn't to make guests feel unwelcome, Hoda said, her usual warmth completely gone. Your job isn't to stereotype people. Your job isn't to use your platform to tear people down. The tension in the studio was suffocating. Crew members shifted uncomfortably, The cameras kept rolling, capturing every moment of this implosion. Carson turned to Savannah. You need to take a moment and really think about what you did, about what you said, because it was wrong, Savannah. It was really, really wrong. I don't need a lecture from you, Savannah snapped back. From any of you. Al Roker shook his head sadly. Maybe you do, because right now, you don't seem to understand the gravity of what happened. Hoda looked at the producers off camera. We need to go to commercial. We need to figure out how to handle this. But before anyone could move, Savannah grabbed her microphone again, her voice rising. You want to know what's really wrong here? It's that nobody can handle honesty anymore. Everyone wants to live in this fake world where we pretend everything is perfect and everyone is wonderful. Well, I'm sorry, but I refuse to play that game. Honesty and cruelty are not the same thing, Carson said firmly. You can be direct without being disrespectful. You can ask tough questions without attacking someone's character. Al nodded. Michael answered your question, Savannah. He was open. He was prepared to have a real conversation. But you weren't interested in conversation. You were interested in confrontation. Hoda addressed the camera again, tears now openly streaming down her face. To anyone watching who feels hurt by what happened here today, please know that love and respect should always be at the center of what we do. And when that doesn't happen, when someone forgets that basic principle, it's wrong. It's just wrong. Savannah stared at Hoda, something flickering across her face. Doubt, maybe, or realization. But it passed quickly, replaced by defiance. You're all overreacting. You'll see. People will understand what I was trying to do. What were you trying to do? Al asked pointedly. Enlighten us. What was your goal here? Savannah opened her mouth, then closed it. For the first time since the interview started, she seemed at a loss for words. Carson stepped closer. You don't have an answer, do you? Because there is no good answer. There's no justification for what you did. The silence stretched out, heavy and uncomfortable. Savannah looked at each of her co-hosts, seeing nothing but disappointment and anger reflected back at her. Finally, the stage manager made a cutting motion. We have to go to commercial. Now. As the commercial break began, the co-hosts remained frozen in place, the reality of what had just happened settling over them like a dark cloud. In the hallway outside the studio, Michael B. Jordan walked toward the exit, his security team falling in step beside him. His face was set, determined. He had stood up for himself. He had refused to accept disrespect. And while the moment had been painful, uncomfortable, and infuriating, he knew he had made the right choice. Behind him, the Today Show studio descended into chaos, the carefully constructed facade of morning television brightness shattered by one host's entitlement and the devastating confrontation that followed.